Hey, good people. Welcome to another episode of Just Life and Podcast. I am one half of your host, Kina.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's I.
All right, y'all. So let's get into a quick vibe check. Sai, what's been going on with you this week?
I feel like this weekend, I will say it was a fun weekend. Me and a good friend went to go see Tonight's Conversation in DC, which was good. We've been before, went to the Baltimore one. And for people who don't know, it's like a panel, and then they have people in the audience ask various questions, more relationship-based questions. And they just kind of give feedback, advice, et cetera, et cetera. But it was good because Iyanla Van Zant was there, and I really do like her. And she was dropping a lot of gems. So it was overall a good time in DC, and the weather was beautiful as well, so
Mm,
no
hmm
complaints. And then I will say
Yeah.
real quick, because some people were asking me, my son is doing better in school now. We were kind of nervous, my husband and I, like, okay, what's going on with this school, because he wasn't having the best beginning start. But this week has definitely been a change, been getting positive feedback from his teacher, and he himself has also been showing like a lot of positivity and things like that. So I'm just hoping that it continues on. So other than that, that's all that's happening over here.
Okay. Well, glad that he is doing better at school. I know you were concerned about that,
Yeah.
not knowing what was going on with him, because
Hmm.
his behavior wasn't like it usually is. I like tonight's conversation as well. I went to the one in Atlanta before and I've been wanting to
Hmm.
go back again and I just never like the timing never lines up. So hopefully I can catch them again. I'm also kind of curious about that since some of the like long standing panel members that were there before are not. So curious about that. Well, for me, I just have had so much going on, a lot of like family stuff. Like my mom has um a pretty serious illness right now. So I've been kinda just juggling so many things at one time. It's been a very, stressful week for me just managing work, managing moving, managing my mom's affairs. So I'm gonna be heading to Virginia for a few weeks soon to go and help her out and make sure she's good. And that's pretty much been what's been eating up a lot of my time.
Understandable. Understandable.
Alright, well, what's going on with the rundown this week?
So today we're gonna start it off. Diddy finally got sentenced. He was sentenced to 50 months in prison. He will get 14 months as time served,
Oh,
and only has to complete about 85% of the sentence. So estimated, let's just say about maybe 2.5 years additional time in prison, give or take. Um,
mm.
his lawyers did suggest that they will appeal what the judge sentenced him to.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I don't know. Personal
Mm,
opinion, I don't think he should appeal. The
mm.
time, the money, I don't think it's worth it. I just feel like just use the time to continue to sustain health in regards to like substance addiction and continue therapy. Like I completely understand like he wants to get back to his kids, but be grateful like this verdict is what it is as opposed to
Yeah.
what he was originally facing. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause, yeah, that's like a fraction of the amount of time that he was facing before,
Mhm,
you know?
mhm,
Yeah, I mean,
mhm.
I guess he figures he has the resources and the time to keep fighting it, so that's what he's gonna do, but, I heard that some people were saying that he shot himself in the foot, so to speak, by he booked, like, some sort of, like, speaking engagement or something, I don't know, before his sentencing, and they
Yeah,
were
I
like,
feel like
"Oh."
yeah, we and it was at a school. I don't know if it was like elementary school children or
Mm,
junior high, whatever that a school though in Miami. And it was to talk about I think like accountability or responsibility, something to that effect. I think he
mm.
probably, was being a little bit overzealous, him and his team thinking that he was gonna walk out. but it wasn't like a speaking engagement like on ABC News. Like it was just something like at a school. But even still, though, it is what it is. I guess, but for me, I just feel like he should just sit this one out and just write it out. Let it be what it be. And then 2 years is gonna go by fast. This is me speaking from the outside. But I just feel like time does go by fast though. So he just doesn't need to waste any additional money or time. Just my opinion. But
Yeah, I
moving
agree with that.
yeah, moving on. Cardi B drops an album like we discussed last week, and I just feel like everyone is upset. Cardi B and
Mhm.
Nicki Minaj exchange internet insults. From Nicki saying she's gonna kick Cardi B's daughter gums to the back of her mouth or something to that effect. And then Cardi B alleging Nicki's mad because her mother never stopped Nicki's dad from molesting her when he was
Mhm.
high on crack. The internet exchanges, though, in my opinion, is like the definition of when you go low, I'ma take it to hell.
Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely.
Just hearing everything
Absolutely.
yeah, they've been talking about. For me, once again, I just feel like I don't want Cardi B to respond anymore or ever.
Mhm.
I just feel like the devil is being active while she's in the
Mhm.
midst of so many blessings. And the drama is like gonna overshine the album. And I don't think, you know what I mean? She needs to focus on that. Just keep focused on this amazing rollout that you're doing and move forward, in my opinion.
I feel like it's, like, appropriate that she named her album "Am I the Drama?" because she is the
Mhm.
drama, but I feel like she's the drama because people are, like, bringing the drama to her. I was like, "Is this part of the publicity? Is this real
Yeah.
drama?"
Yeah, Imma say no, it's not part of the publicity. I don't think she signed up for all of this, what she giving. At it. Moving on, Nicki Minaj, obviously, she just sounds very erratic on the internet rants. She has something to say about everyone. So many people from The Breakfast Club, Jay-Z, Quavo, Gayle King. And you know me. I don't do erratic behavior. It's very annoying to me. So I just feel like whatever triggered Nikki to come out with all this energy. I just hope she gets whatever help she needs because just something is off. Something is not right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think everybody's suspecting drugs at this point.
Yeah, and some things to know, certain things that came out, in between like the internet exchanges. Nikki's brother's also in prison for sexually assaulting an 11-year-old girl. He's in
Mm-mm,
serving 25 years in prison. Nikki's
mm-mm.
husband, Kenneth Petty, is registered a sex offender allegedly for dealing
Yeah.
with a young girl. Nikki's allegedly diagnosed with schizophrenia, bipolar for like
Mm.
9 years and is like heavy on coke. And then supposedly, like, her husband likes to keep her drugged up, so he can keep running up them credit cards.
Well, child, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, yeah. Moving on. So in the midst of the Cardi and Nicki drama, it done skipped right over to JT and Saucy Santana. They had a heated exchange on socials as well. And this stemmed from, like I said, Cardi B and JT going back and forth online as well. Audio was released where Santana was saying JT was not a good friend, essentially saying she was nasty to Carisha, who we also know is Young Miami, when it came to their group City Girls. Just for some back info for people if you don't know, Saucy Santana is like Carisha's best friend. JT and Carisha or Young Miami, like I said, were once in a group called City Girls that allegedly they're saying Nicki had a hand in breaking the group up, basically by being messy. Nicki recruited JT for a feature on the song Super Freaky Girl, and apparently Young Miami wasn't informed. So allegedly, Nicki wanted Young Miami and Saucy to jump in when Cardi and JT were having like their initial beef. So I don't know. But if that's why they broke up, that's crazy. Because I actually like the City Girls.
I mean, I don't know if I would blame Nikki for that.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's probably a lot of variables with that because I think we saw the difference between them, just like their interaction like a long time ago. But, who knows? Who knows? Moving
Mm.
on, Brittany Renner wants 35,000 monthly from her baby daddy PJ Washington. Brittany Renner was recently on Basketball Wives LA portraying a Muslim woman, what now appears to be a conversion so she can have sex with the rapper Kevin Gates. Render no longer dresses up in her Islamic garb that, she was portraying or whatever she had going on.
Child, it was
Uh,
cosplay.
yeah, unsure if she's still like practicing like the faith. But yeah.
Mm.
And PJ Washington, her baby father, is married and also has a child with another woman, his current wife. Let me not say another woman, his current wife. He currently pays Renner 5,500 a month for their 4-year-old son.
That seems super low.
Yeah, yeah.
3,500 is super low, but 35,000 seems super high. I don't understand
Agreed.
how these girls be coming up with these monetary amounts for these
I think
child
it's
support.
because he recently got a $90 million contract extension with the Dallas Mavericks. So Brandy's like, "Oh, yeah, I need
Yeah.
that increase." She says she relocated from North Carolina to LA. So
Mm,
there's an increase in cost of living. And she also wants her son to have the same lifestyle that, her dad has.
mhm.
And, the
$35,000
son,
worth.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know, but I agree with you. It's like, how do you justify the 35,000? But I mean, hey, I guess you'll figure it out. And then another headline, Bad Bunny is the performer picked for this year's halftime Super Bowl show. This announcement definitely ruffled some feathers. My hope is that he sings everything in Spanish.
That's what they've been saying, child.
Yes, and I want him to do everything in Spanish. So if you don't know, you don't know. Also, for those who didn't pay attention in school, I have to say this. Puerto Rico is a US territory. If you didn't pay attention to geography, social studies, your history class, it is a US territory. Because people are like, no, he needs to go back to where he came from. It's like, stop it. Don't be that
You
person.
first. You first, because I'm
Thank you.
sure that your ancestors,
Thank you.
not too distant, are not from here. So, okay,
Thank you. Like,
you
I'm
stop
like,
the
okay.
train.
But last but not least, the federal government is shut down. Like, we just kind of like skipped over that because it's like they announced it, but it really hasn't been in the headlines because other things have been going on, like socially. Like, I feel like Diddy's everywhere and other things are everywhere. But it is the second time the federal government has been shut down since 2019. So
Well, what ain't shut down is ICE raiding black neighborhoods in Chicago.
I
But
did
okay.
see that craziness. No comment. No comment. To be honest. I will just say, now with everything we spoke about, let me just wrap the rundown with this. You are not responsible for your trauma, but you are responsible for your healing. Charlemagne the God. And he made that statement when he was reading Nicki Minaj, and I could not agree with him more. Very, very accurate. All right, y'all. So for this topic, getting into it, we're going to be talking about tapping into your purpose. And I feel like with that, it's one of those questions like, what does that actually mean for you? What does that also look like for you? If you wanted to look at it like a more formal definition, it's basically sums it up like discovering or actively engaging with a deep sense of meaning that connects your passions, values, and strengths to make a positive impact on the world. It is an ongoing personal journey of self discovery that provides direction, motivation, and fulfillment by aligning your actions with your core beliefs and contributing to something larger than yourself. With that all being said, I think it's one of those things that everyone is still in search of their purpose. Some people, let me not say everyone, some people are still genuinely in search of their purpose because I feel like in this life, you do get to a point where it's kind of like, damn, what am I really meant to be doing? What do I need to be doing? Um, so yeah. So today we're gonna get into it, tapping into your purpose. What are your thoughts?
This one is a difficult one for me because I don't know what my purpose is.
Hmm.
I genuinely don't know what my purpose is. And I always hate when they ask you in job interviews about your passion, your purpose, da 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 da. And then you gotta come up with something. Oh, working with people. Well,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I know the things that I like to do,
Hmm. Hmm.
but doesn't necessarily mean it's my purpose. No.
Right.
And I don't really know how you get to a point of knowing what your purpose is.
Yeah, that's a good one because sometimes I be thinking like, is it a some sense of fulfillment that you feel in whatever that is that you are doing? Like I always say, like sometimes people might say, like, oh, I like helping people, but most jobs you are helping someone in some capacity, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's your purpose. Like I feel
Right.
like I work in healthcare. I'm, giving preventative health treatment for patients. but I'm not gonna say it's my passion. I enjoy, like, educating patients about oral health and things like that, but I'm not gonna say I go in there and like, "Yay, let's do this," and like, no, I'm not gonna say all of that. So I definitely do think, like, I don't know, like, it says, like, it's kinda like identifying your passions, you recognize your core values, trying to tap into your strengths, and then making a positive impact. But the one thing it says that with your purpose, that is like it's an ongoing journey. So then it
Mm,
makes me think like, is it something that like your purpose may change? I could see that.
mm.
Like it may start like, in one way, but then as you're on that journey, you kind of have different experiences or see things from a different perspective and your purpose may shift. I just wonder that as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure that that's possible, that your purpose over time shifts, you
Mhm.
know, as you grow, develop, learn, experience things, just live life.
Yeah,
Um,
and I feel like most people always say like, I just want like when you talk about like your legacy, what do you want to be remembered for when you're gone?
mhm,
Things like that. I feel like in a way that does tie into your purpose because
mhm,
it's what you're leaving behind and hopefully like whatever you're leaving behind is something that impacts people in a positive
mhm,
ultimately. I feel like that's what most people strive for. I feel like Nipsey Hussle his statement, he was like, "It's not, what you say to people," and I'm paraphrasing, but it's not what you say to people, but it's how you made them feel when
mhm.
when you were around them and things like that, and I think that's very, like, big because I do think, a lot of times it's, how you left a person, like, some people will be like, "Oh my god, I love to be around you," just because of the aura, the energy that you give off and things like
Yeah.
as well. I feel like in this industry also, in this world, the industry of healthcare, going back to that, I feel like it's shifted tremendously because you have hella nurses these days.
Yeah.
But it's damn sure not their purpose. And
This
you can tell in the level of healthcare that they are providing. And this is some nurses, so don't come for me.
Mhm.
Some of y'all nurses know good and well the purpose of you being there is solely for the money, it's
Yep.
solely for the travel so you can post, it's solely for the shop so you can post and so you can eat and post. But
Oh,
it's not genuinely there, for you to be helping patients. Like that's not your passion or drive in life. It's not what wakes you up in the morning. Uh,
yeah. But I think a lot of people are diverted from discovering their passion
mhm.
because they're self-included, in the pursuit of good salary.
Yes. Mhm.
Because, I think it's a blessing. It's absolute blessing and a wonderful thing for a person to be able to, have understand what their purpose is
Mhm.
and then be able to make money from it, but make a good coin from it.
Mhm.
Because I think a
Mhm.
lot of us have different things that, we interpret to be a purpose or a passion. But we're like, "Okay, well, how are you gonna live off that, though? So let me go
Yes.
ahead and get this job that I know is gonna pay my bills, it's gonna allow me to travel, have a little money in the bank."
Yes, exactly. No, but that's a fact though, because at the end of the day, like you still have to live. And I do think like even from an education standpoint, a lot of people don't pursue what they truly want to get educated in due to they know the salary is not going to be appropriate to sustain a proper life. It really
Yeah.
isn't. So I do think, like you said, people will go into different industries that they're a little bit more like about, but it's like, okay, we're gonna make it work though, and just do what we
Mhm.
need to do because we have bills and the cost of living is only going up. So I definitely understand where people are coming from in that regard as well, though.
That's a very real thing, like, you hear about people, they're like, "I really love art," you know? "I
Mhm.
just really love making beautiful things," and you're like, "Okay, what are you gonna do with that?"
Mhm.
If I were a parent and my kid was like, "Mom, my passion is art.
Mhm.
I just feel so amazing when I make a beautiful piece." I would look at you crazy
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm not
Mhm.
gon you're not gonna stay here. Why are you
Mhm.
paying?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and I'm not paying for that degree either. It's so bad to say. Like you can minor in it if you want to do a double major or you
Mhm.
do something, that God willing will provide you with a job. and then you can minor in whatever your passion is, whatever that looks like or whatever. Because even I was watching the show, it's with Earn Your Leisure, and they were teaching like financial literacy to like younger people, blah blah blah. And the girl was in New York pursuing dance.
Mm.
And it was a very like specialized type dancing and blah 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 whatever. But she was just like, yeah, but if it doesn't work out, I'm getting a degree in something else. And they were like, what are you getting your degree in? Homegirl said history.
Uh-uh,
I was like,
uh-uh,
oh, so you just say you don't care. And
oh,
your parents said they didn't care either.
apparently so. What
No,
are you gonna do with that? All you can do with a history degree is teach.
and that's it. And going back to passion, most of these teachers don't want to be there either.
Oh, you
That's
know, you know what?
mhm.
I have to disagree with you on that a little bit
Okay.
because we know teachers don't get paid shit. The
Yes.
salary is disgusting. And not only do you have to deal with these badass, disrespectful,
Mhm.
poorly parented children, you
Mhm.
have to deal with their disgustingly disrespectful, poorly parented parents
Mhm.
as well. Bureaucracy, administration, you take work home.
Yeah.
Um, teachers often have to pay out of pocket for their things, supplies for their
Yes,
classes and
that's
everything else.
true.
There's no possible way, in my mind, that someone is going to pursue that with all of the shit that everybody knows comes with that if you
Mhm.
don't have a genuine passion for that.
That's true. That I agree with you there. That is very true. That's a good point. Yeah. They have to have a passion. You're right. And they're not being there due to the compensation.
Mm-mm.
Either that or yeah, yeah. No, that part I agree. You're right.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
you can have a teacher who came in with passion, right? And they
Mhm.
thought they were going to make a difference and they thought they were going to turn things around and they thought this and they thought that and they get burned out because
Yes.
the realities of the shithole of these educational systems and all the things
Mhm.
that you have to deal with and it burns you out. But I truly believe that teachers, they start out with passion. What happens after a
That's
few
true.
years? That's a
That's
different story.
true. That is very true. And sometimes I wonder with my child starting school if the passion is still there. Maybe I should say that. With
Mm.
the way some of them are, I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just said that basically, had you have pursued another degree, you would be there right now. But because, like, maybe you don't want to go back to school or not able, da 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 da, whatever. So
Yeah.
here you are. But I do agree with you. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of variables that bring them to that point as well.
Yeah.
I definitely do agree with you.
You could not pay me any amounts to be a teacher. I'm sorry.
No.
You
Well,
could
I don't
not.
like kids like that. So me, never. Bad. No, I don't. I don't like kids to that extent. Personally, I really don't. And I don't have patience. And you can only control your own. And going back to
Mhm.
what you said, the way some of these children are being parented, I would be highly disturbed if I was encountering some of the stuff that some of these teachers are encountering in this day and age. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. I already know my patience is not built like that. But then I think about like some people who do like certain jobs or careers for the notoriety that comes with it. Like sometimes going back to healthcare, when you see some people who are doctors, and once again, you meet them and it's like, yeah, you really didn't. And as long as the schooling is and everything that comes with medical school, whatever, whatever, whatever. And it's like some people really pursue it because culturally, that's what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Parents basically don't give you an option, so that's what you need to do. Like, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
things like that. So they go through everything that comes with obtaining like these higher education degrees, but they generally don't want to do it though.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting because I even see on social media now, you're seeing a lot of people who hold doctorates, whether it's MD, PhD, PharmD, but they're branching into social media. And that's like really pouring their time is. I'm not going to say it's their passion. I don't know because I don't know these people. I'm just going what I observe on Instagram, right? But it's like maybe it's easier to make money. I don't know. I'm just assuming by being a what do you call it influencer
Mm.
doing things like now they have the people who let's just say you're having a big birthday party or wedding whatever whatever and like you hire people just to get content for you.
Yeah.
And so they have, like, a lot of people doing that now too, and it's kinda like, wow, you have, like, this higher education degree, but then, like, this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's
Well, less stressful probably.
Yeah, that part for sure. Because patient care is not easy. That part for sure. Agreed with that.
Yeah, I think, as someone who has had multiple careers,
Mhm. Mhm.
I get
Mhm.
that. You know,
Yeah.
I absolutely get it. The job that I do now is not anything that I went to school for.
Mhm.
Not for my bachelor's, not for my master's, not
Mhm.
for my certificate, not for my half a degree that
Right.
that I didn't finish.
Mhm.
And that's just, again, not really understanding what it is you wanna do or going into these fields and you're unhappy and you're like, "I cannot continue to do this for the rest of whatever." And you're just trying to find your way. I think a lot of people are just trying to find their way, like I said, in a way that's going to pay them. Everybody knows social media, if you do it the right way, is lucrative.
Very lucrative. Yes.
I can't imagine that it's as stressful to make some reels and posts and shoot content as it is, cutting somebody open and performing a surgery or,
Mhm. Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah. I was telling my husband, like, with having kids, like, okay, when they go to college and blah, 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 whatever, I'm like, they have to do something in healthcare. Period. I was like, "We're not even arguing. You will do something in healthcare, and then if you wanna do something else that is your quote unquote passion or whatever, you can do it." But I'm like, "Please just get that foundational degree in something where you know you can always find a job." I was like, "That I don't care." And I always said I would never be that person, like, "No, you can't force your kid." Well, Imma try to force them. Imma be that parent that's gonna try to force them to get a degree in healthcare, and I just stand by that, especially with
And
the
you're
way.
going to pay for that degree.
Correct.
So you don't mind if they waste your money because they get out into the healthcare field and 2 years later they're like, "Okay, I already knew I didn't wanna do this, but you made me do it. I did it. I got the
Mhm.
degree. I'm 2 years in. I don't like this shit. Imma go
Mhm.
do something else." And you don't mind having spent that money times 2 because you have 2 kids.
No, because if they go pursue something like art and then they fall flat on their face, because we know that's a super difficult industry to get into, you gonna take your ass right back to that healthcare that you hate so much, just like everybody else is doing it and they hate it. Because you're gonna go there to collect your coin at the end of the day. And if you want job security, because I'm not supporting you for the rest of your life, you gonna go back. If art is not working out, if acting is not working out, even if content creating is not working out, you can mosey on back into this and you go do this until you figure something out because your passion might change. And maybe you
Mhm.
just need to go to the right side of healthcare and open,
Oh,
yourself up. I don't know. But no, you need that foundational degree. I don't care. I will argue that one down with anybody. Don't go do these foolish degrees, y'all. Do something that you know will make sense and stay current on what is happening in the climate today because AI is a real thing. So the job market is shifting, right? There's certain jobs that will be eliminated at certain point in time. So I think you definitely have to be strategic in what you go to school for, or you
yeah,
gonna
and
be hurt.
it's
Fin-
like it's a possibility that that will change by the time your kids go to school, though, because,
yes, yes,
when you look at the list of jobs that are gonna be replaced by AI, healthcare is running all up and through that list as well. So I
yeah.
think you just, being mindful, you have to recalibrate. But, if your kids go to college
Hmm.
and they start off with whatever it is that you want them to do,
Hmm.
you're paying for it, you and your husband are
Hmm.
paying for it, and then, you know, 1 or 2 years in, they decide that they just can't do it. They don't like it, they're not doing well in it. That's a possibility because just because you want your kids to be doctors doesn't mean that they'll do well in the pre-med
Right,
program.
right.
And they change their minds mid whatever. Are
Hmm.
you going to not pay for the new decision?
We would have to assess at that time. I'm not gonna hold you. We really would. Because like I said, if you change from, let's just say you were doing nursing or dental hygiene or whatever, and then you change and say, no, I want to go, I don't know, be a botanist. No, we might have to talk. We might have to talk and then see some things and see what's happening. Because like you
Mhm.
said, 13 years, I don't know. I'm pushing for healthcare now because I just know that's what's sustainable today. But in 13 years, like you said, it may look different. So
Yeah.
I feel like as long as they're shifting to something that makes sense in their current time, then we
Mhm.
cool. But if it doesn't, like if history turn around in 13 years and history is the thing to do, then go big up yourself, do history. But if not, no, we have to talk. We have to talk just to make sure that it makes sense. That's yeah.
Yeah. Well, as someone who has been bopped over the head with student loan debt in the past and not working in my anything that I've gone to school for, and just seeing how people who haven't done any formal education have done well, I kind of developed this mindset that if I had kids, it wouldn't have been a requirement for them to go to college. Like, let's just figure out something though, like something that's going to bring you money,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a trade school or something else, but it doesn't have to be traditional college. And I think some of that too stems from my parents made me go to college.
Yeah.
I always did very well in school. I was an honor roll student, advanced diploma, all the good things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't enjoy school and I didn't necessarily want to go to college. I mean, I had things that I was interested in. They were all like science-based things, marine
Mm-hmm.
biology, other science degrees, but I really liked hair. And I had brought up to my mom about going to cosmetology school, and she shut it down. Like she absolutely was like, "There's no way that you're going to
Mm-hmm.
cosmetology. You are absolutely not going to cosmetology school."
Mm-hmm.
And now all of these years later, it's still like, well, dang, like, what if I had just did my own thing? You know,
Right.
because my
Right.
parents didn't pay for college really. Like, I had loans. My mom, I think, had a loan. I had scholarships. I had grants. So it wasn't like they
Mm-hmm.
were like paying for my full ride to school.
Right.
So
Right.
I could have made a decision if I had been strong enough at 17 to
Yeah.
make a decision on my own and kind of defy what my parents wanted. I kind of wonder like what would have turned out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can understand that. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up getting into it. So you guys let us know, what does tapping into your purpose look like? What does that entail? And are you already working in your purpose? Not necessarily job wise, but doing something that you would consider is your purpose. Let us know on the Just Life Gen Instagram page. So we're going to get into our next segment, unpacking it.
All right, y'all. So we have a nice little controversial scenario for you this week. The scenario is 2 years after you get married, your partner changes their mind about never wanting to have kids. Would you stay in the marriage and start a family? Probably reluctantly, despite that not being what you originally planned. Or would you get a divorce? What say you?
You said 2 years in the marriage and they decide they don't want, one person decides they don't want kids.
No, you both had agreed that you did not want kids, and
Okay.
then one changes their mind and now they wanna start a family.
Yeah. I will say that's gonna require a lot of conversation because some people marry the partner they're with based upon what was discussed, like, okay,
Mhm.
religion, some, core values and things like that want family. So, it's kinda like, okay, he doesn't want kids. Great. I don't want kids. All right, cool, cool, cool. We on the same page, so I don't have to worry about that. So a conversation would definitely need to be had, but I would understand if either side was like, okay, we're gonna have to call it quits because if your true desire is to be a father or mother, I don't think you should compromise or sacrifice that due to your spouse,
Yeah, I agree.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
Because I do think over time you're gonna develop resentment towards that person as well, because it's something
yeah,
you want, unless you just decide you're gonna get over it. But most people are not gonna get over that, in my
yeah.
opinion. Most people are not gonna get over that at all.
There'll always be that what if, that
Mhm.
kinda thought in the back of your mind, and then as you're approaching, getting a certain age where you're getting, like, too late to do it, it's kinda like,
Exactly, exactly. Because I say for myself, my husband always said he could do one child. I never wanted kids. I always wanted to be the quote unquote rich auntie and just let it be that. But he always said he wanted one child, but he never pressed it though. And I always say I was an old bride. And don't get offended, people. Like no one get offended, but I feel like in my culture at that time, today's a little bit different. I got married at, what was I think I was like 34 or something like that. That's considered old. So either way, he then like later on, I think I was like maybe 38 or something. He said he was like, no, like for real, like I really want one child. And I'm like, damn, for real? Like I thought you was just, talking because he never like really pressed it. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, all right, I can do one child. Let me get a man one child. I'm open to it enough, like whatever. Did that, boom. Had the one child, like I said, I think like 38, 39, something like that. And then it was like you seen this one little child. I'm like, damn, he all by himself and then he won't play with us. I can't be having him want to play with me all the time. I'm tired because I'm old, right? I was like, I don't have time for this. So it's like, okay, he needs a playmate. That's, whatever. Boom, the sister come. And I think I had my daughter when I was turning 41 or something like that, which is quote unquote, I say late, but in today's time, the way things are now is not late, but it is
Yeah.
considered a geriatric pregnancy because regardless of what's happening socially, from a biological standpoint, that is older. You know what I mean? There's more things that can come up or
Mhm.
with a child. Not to say that you can't have a healthy child, but you definitely are at higher odds for things to occur with the baby's health, with your health. I say all of that to say, me being with my husband and seeing the type of person he is, it made me change my mind. If I was married to somebody and I'm like, "Oh my god, this man's an asshole." Like, you know what I mean? But we just here in this marriage, like whatever, we just dealing with what we dealing with. No, I would have never gave him a child because then I'm really
Mm.
like locked in with you for life. Like, hell no. You know
So
what I mean? But
you would have had to divorce?
say it again.
So you would have had to
Oh
divorce?
yeah, yeah, without a question. Like, I don't have time. Mm-mm. No, 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 no,
Mhm.
I'm good. So it's like going back to what I said initially, I feel like I can respect it on either side. The person who wants and the person who doesn't want. If you don't have that desire, if you do have that desire, you are allowed to tap into that. You know what I mean? But it just
Yeah.
may not be with that person who you're with. And both parties just have to be okay with moving forward, separately,
Yeah.
ultimately. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is okay because people do change their mind. We
Mm.
discuss a lot pre-marriage, you know what I mean? And sometimes when you get into the thick of things, you see certain things, your perspective changes on certain things. You might be like, you know what? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good to have the conversation ahead of time. You must have these conversations ahead of time about children's, if you have differing spiritual values, like how you want the kids to be raised, do you want to have kids at all those things, right? But also, a person is entitled to change their mind.
Mhm.
And I think that it just creates a sticky situation because, you're now invested, you're locked in, you're one, you're
Mhm.
married, you're a
Mhm.
union. And I think, people could look at it as like, dang, I'm throwing away a whole good thing because I don't want to have kids. And then you've got the outside noise coming in, people calling you I don't know why people feel like if a person doesn't want to have kids, that's selfish. Like, don't even, I don't even want to get started on it.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That is a perception. It is.
Whole conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're selfish, this, that, and the third, da 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 da. It it's a situation I would not want to be in, and now I'm old, so
No,
ain't no babies coming out of this thing.
listen.
But, um
Some people make it and do, they still, either way. But yes.
not the kid, not this one though. Um, but yeah, I do not envy that position, and I think, you can kinda say what you would do from the outside in, but once you're in that situation, oh,
Yeah. No, absolutely. And at the end of the day, you have to be content with what you're doing for you. Child aside, partner aside, whatever. You know what I mean? However that looks like. So you got to make a decision for you, ultimately.
all right, y'all. So let us know. What do y'all think? What would y'all do? We'll put something up in the socials per usual and get your opinion on this. I'm interested to hear about this one, really.
Mm-hmm.
Especially from those who are married in a situation where they've had a spouse to change their mind. So tap in, let us know, guys.
Okay, so we're going to get into our last segment of the show, Mindset Reset. Today is surround yourself with people that push you to be better. No drama, jealousy, or mess. Just higher goals, good vibes, and positive energy. Thank you guys for chilling with us for episode 8. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode and you guys already know what to do. And then also, let me give a shout out to everyone who began following the Instagram Just Life in podcast page. We appreciate the love, the support, the comments. We like to talk to y'all, so please keep commenting. We had something up there about the purple dress. Keep tuning in to that and giving us feedback. We appreciate all of the love. Hit us on Linktree, the email. You guys know it. justlifeandpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram page, same, Just Life and Podcast. TikTok and Facebook. And we will be up on YouTube shortly. We will give you the deets for that as well. But thank you, everyone.
Have a good one.